This is the Digital Agency Insiders Podcast. Inside, you'll learn how to build, grow, and scale your digital marketing agency, all from the comfort of your favorite coffee shop. Let's get started with the show.
Hey, everybody, and welcome again to another episode of Digital Agency Insiders Podcast. This is the podcast that gives you a little inside look into how entrepreneurs built and grew their digital marketing agencies. My name is Tabitha Thomas. I'm your host. And if this is your first time listening to the podcast, I encourage you to go hit that subscribe button because every single Tuesday we release a new episode with a new interview with a different agency owner. So today I have with me Alex Miner. Alex is the Chief Creative Officer at IAM Media, and it's Alex's job to make sure that video is used as a force for good and the evil hordes of mediocrity are kept far away from the hearts and minds of innocent business owners and their customers. So he's more than your friendly neighborhood videographer. Alex is a detective, collaborator, and an advocate for his clients, helping them clearly and concisely communicate their core values while providing targeted video assets and digital campaigns to increase awareness and sales. Alex, welcome to the show.
Hi, thank you for having me.
I can definitely tell you're in the creative field because that intro there was very creative and I absolutely love it. So
yeah, I hate writing about myself. So when I do, I like have to do something extra.
No, I love it. I'm like, most of them are like very, not mundane, but, very straightforward. And that was very creative. So I liked it a lot. So the first question that I usually, start out the gate with was, how did you get to where you are today? So you're a videographer. How did that path to becoming a videographer look for you?
Well, actually, it started in the realm of audio. So
Okay.
back in high school, I was a musician. I was rapping. I was making beats. And I went to school for that. I went to Hampton University first as a music engineering major. Then I went to Full Sail, which maybe some of your listeners might be familiar with. It's a university now, but it used to be called Full Sail Real World Education. It's basically a media school down in Orlando, Florida, which is where I live now. And they have all sorts of different programs down there, recording arts, which is what I took, but they've also got film, game design, entertainment law, just all sorts of stuff. If you're like creative, technical type of person, they've probably got a major that's for you.
Believe it or not, my brother wanted to go to school there, and we're from a teeny tiny little town of like 300 people. So everybody's like, full set, what?
That's kind of the reaction my parents had when I told them I wanted to go there. And I ended up going to Hampton just because they were like, look, if you want to do this thing, this little Full Sail thing after you graduate, that's cool. But you're gonna go get a 4-year degree first. And that didn't end up happening. Like I left Hampton after two and a half years because I wasn't learning what I really wanted to learn. I was very passionate about audio and making music. And even though I was learning a lot about music there, I wasn't learning a lot about the technical side of things. And that's really what I wanted to learn. It was like, I figured I could learn the musical stuff on my own. Although I did learn a lot of valuable lessons there. I won't front. Like I didn't know much about, chord structure or classic, I'm even forgetting the terms right now. That's how long I've been out of school. How to write music from a classical standpoint. I didn't have a lot of that foundation, even though I played music in high school. So I don't regret it from that standpoint, but I really, really wanted to hone in on those technical skills. And that's why I wanted to go to Full Sail. But let's fast forward really quick because I have a tendency to drone on and on. Years later, I worked in television news for a while doing audio. And then I got into corporate events, and that's where I got hip to video, like not as a concept, but as a career path.
Yeah.
Because if you're familiar with corporate events at all, going to large conferences and stuff, you see these guys in black, like running around or in the back of the room, hunkered down, trying to make sure no one pays attention to them. I've been one of those guys for a long time. And at first I was trying to be an audio guy, but on most of those shows, there's like 2 positions that actually are there the whole time. But on the video side of things, you look around backstage and you might have 4, 5, 6 people backstage. Plus you might have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 camera guys out front, depending on the size of the show, and I can count. And I was like, okay, there seems to be much more money over here.
At least more
How do
opportunity.
yeah, it was like, how do I do that? And eventually you got somebody to talk to me and tell me what to do. And I started getting training and stuff. And the first thing I did was camera. Because eventually if you tell enough people that you know how to run a camera, somebody will believe you. And eventually somebody did, and I didn't know what I was doing, but I was smart enough to kind of assemble the thing and point it in the right direction. And that was the start of my video career. Um, and, you know, fast forward more, after years of specializing in video for live events, finally bought some of my own equipment. And that's where I fell in love with the process of creating video. And along that route, where I was doing, you know, short films, independent films, mini documentaries and things like that, getting my feet wet and, you know, just kind of getting my chops down. Somewhere along the line, the concept of video for business came across my desk or my browser window, and it just kind of clicked. And I'm like, that could be interesting. Wait, people pay for this? Yeah. People pay how much for this?
Uh-huh.
And you know, and it's a lot of it's similar to documentary work, and that's kind of the way I was leaning anyway. And you know, exploring short films and things like that, I really like, you know, finding out people's real stories and telling those stories. And so there was a lot of similarities there. So I was like, well, I know the independent film route is really, really tough. And not
Mhm.
that doing video for business is easy, but it's much more likely that the people that I'll be dealing with actually have money to pay me with. So,
Mhm.
you know, I like money.
Yeah. And well, you got to have it to survive. I mean, it's just something you got to have. So are you one of the owners of IAM Media, or are you just there as a chief creative officer right now?
I am the owner. It is, I mean, realistically, it's a one-man shop. I have
Right.
people that I bring in on different projects, but for the most part, I'm a solopreneur. I tend to deal with small and medium-sized businesses. I'm not really interested in working with bigger corporations at this point where there's, you know, tons of red tape. Like, I want to be able to work with the owners
Yeah.
or with you know, be in a position where working with whoever's in charge of the marketing is not there's not a bunch of layers and a bunch of hoops that need to be jumped through. Like I want to
Mhm.
be able to move quickly, make swift decisions, and to be able to come with them with ideas where they can either quickly yay it or nay it, or say, yeah, we got the budget for that, we don't got the budget for that, or let's try this from a different angle instead of having to, you know, do an elaborate dance to get anything done.
Yeah. I like it. So tell me about the agency. Is it just video work, or do you guys do other things? Is that just like the key focus right now?
The key focus is producing video content, and that usually ends up on people's social media channels,
Okay.
Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn. I'm very big on LinkedIn right now. um, I I like YouTube a lot, and I want to get more business owners to invest time in YouTube, but YouTube is really, really a long-term strategy, and so
Hmm.
some people aren't comfortable with that. They want to see results now, even though, like, if you use it right, you can see dividends quickly. But I mean, video period is a long-term strategy. I tell
Yeah.
everybody that. Too many folks look at it as like a cash machine where they're like, okay, well, if I spend this much on this video, how much am I going to get back? And it's like, hold on, bro, it don't work like that.
Yeah.
um but part of my job is educating people on what the realities are regarding video, like what it can do for you, but also, like, you know, how to be realistic in your expectations, because you know, people just want to make it a transaction instead of it being a process and an investment. uh,
Yeah.
and you've just got to be willing to take that initial hit, because if I'm going to do more than a one-off project with somebody and we're trying to see real results, it's probably going to take 2 to 3 months to
Hmm.
see significant change. Like, we might be lucky and get you some attention right off the bat, depending on how we're implementing the video that we're using. But most likely you're going to, I mean, month minimum to see
Yeah.
results.
So tell me about is there a certain niche that you're going after as far as the types of businesses that you work with, or is it pretty broad right now?
I'm open to a lot of opportunities, but one of my favorite clients right now is a doctor that I'm working with.
Okay.
He's based in Longwood, Florida, and he's got a wonderful, wonderful practice called Nostalgia Family Medicine. I mean, he is probably the sweetest dude you would ever meet. He looks like an old-timey country doctor. He's from North Carolina. He's got that Southern twang.
I love
Yeah, I
it.
mean, the bow tie and the suspenders, the whole bit, but it's not an act. That's the thing.
Yeah.
It's not an act. It's just him.
Yeah.
And and that's why I love working with him, because he's so genuine and just so warm and caring, and his patients get that.
Yeah.
But one of his problems was that first of all was just explaining his practice, because he does something which is called direct primary care, which a lot of people aren't familiar with. So he doesn't take insurance.
Okay.
His service is like subscription based. The whole world's going
Mm-hmm.
that way. Everybody wants a subscription based service.
Mm-hmm.
But because he's doing that, it allows him to make the price point really, really affordable.
Mm-hmm.
And he was having trouble communicating that quickly, and not having people understand that was the main thing he was doing at his practice, because he's also he's a forward thinking doctor. He also helps people get their medical marijuana cards, because that's a thing now in Florida,
Oh
and
yeah.
he can do that. And so, he's smart. He's not trying to cut himself off from money. He's like, this
Yeah.
actually helps people. And if I do it, it's another stream of income for my business. And so he was getting a lot of that. He was getting a lot of that business. And he's like, this business is fine, but I'm not helping people the way I really want to help people. And mostly it's because people don't understand.
Yeah.
And so we made him a video that really told the story of him and his practice, and how he could help people, and what direct primary care was and how it worked. And he opened a practice early last year, probably around March or April. And when I started, by the end of last year, he was up to about 100 patients on the direct primary care side. All off of word of mouth and referrals, and meeting people through the chamber and all that sort of
Mm-hmm.
stuff. Traditional
Yeah.
word of mouth marketing. Um, and so we did his video probably around November, and we started putting it to work as a Facebook campaign in January. And so now he's up to 200 patients.
Awesome. So how did he find you, or did you find him as because the way you talk about him is almost like he's your ideal client. Like if you could have every client be him, it'd be fantastic.
I mean, if every client was like him, it would be pretty great. He kind of lets me do what I want. And part of the reason is because he realizes that he needs marketing. He
Mm-hmm.
knows video is powerful, but he doesn't know what to do.
Mm-hmm.
And like, I'm running his Facebook campaigns as well, and with that, he was like, yeah, the guy we had running our ads before, he was okay, but like he wouldn't update things when we needed him updated. He was always asking us what to do. It's like, we don't know what to do. That's what we're hiring you for. And
Oh.
so it's like, I that's what I tell people, is like, I'm supposed to do the heavy lifting. You're
Uh-huh.
supposed to come in, and I'm supposed to tell you how we get this done, or we're supposed to collaborate together to come to the right, directions, come up with a solution that feels like the right fit for you.
Yeah.
But a lot of and this is the big difference between myself, which I tend to call myself a video marketing strategist, and a regular videographer, is that I'm not looking for you to hand me instructions.
Yeah.
I'm looking to come in and do what my client does, be a doctor, provide a diagnosis, see what's going on, find out what the problems are, and then prescribe a solution that's going to work for you and your business and your brand and your values.
Got it. Yeah. So did he come to you, or did you go to him first when
We
you
actually got introduced by a mutual friend,
okay.
a guy named Kevin Elliott, who at the time was working with an organization, kind of like one of these business network barter organizations.
Yeah.
I had met him through my BNI group.
Okay.
Business Network International, for anybody who
Yep.
doesn't know. And he knew the doctor through his barter network, and he was like, you two guys should talk. And so we did, and you know,
The rest is history. I love it. So when you first came in and talked to this doctor, I'm sure you did like you said, a diagnosis, like what do you have that's going on? What's working, what's not working, and where do you want it to be type thing. So how did that first meeting go with that doctor?
it was good. We had a good vibe from the start. Like I said, you meet this guy and you instantly like him. Like,
Yeah.
he's just real friendly, open personality, and it was just great. And you know, it was just coming. He knew he wanted the video. He knew he eventually wanted to start running Facebook ads, because he was already running Facebook ads for the marijuana side of the business, the medical
Mhm.
marijuana cards, and that was working. He was getting people in from that, but he's like, I don't know how to market the direct primary care part of
Mhm.
this. Like medical marijuana is kind of easy. If people want it, they're gonna come get it. But
Yeah.
this, like, I don't know how to, explain it so that people get it.
Yeah.
And so with the video that we made, we made sure to just lay it out for them. But it wasn't just about the features of it, it was about him. Because the thing that the people, like, if you look him up on his Facebook reviews or his Google reviews, it's nothing but 5-star ratings.
Oh,
Like,
awesome.
people love this guy. And so that's the difference. And that's really what makes video so powerful, is when you've got a business, there's always another business out there that is like yours.
Mhm.
And the differentiator is you.
Mhm.
So video is the easiest, the fastest, the most thorough way for you to communicate what makes you different, but not by just telling people what makes you different, by showing them what makes you different. And not just through words, not just through telling the story, but I also make sure to capture you in action. And like, the thing I like to tell people is, like, I'm not here to make anything up. I'm
Mhm.
here to make sure that the camera is on when you're doing and showing the best parts of you. And
Mhm.
I just put that together in a form that is going to bring the people who need you to you.
So when you were first talking with him, you talked earlier about a video marketing strategy. So when you came in and talked to him the first time, what did that pitch look like? What was it that you were, we talked about Facebook ads and videos and things like that, but what did that actual pitch look like as far as what you were going to provide to him and what he's going to get as the outcome?
That's the thing. I feel like I don't really pitch.
Okay.
I just come in and I ask a lot of questions. I don't like selling.
Yeah.
I'm not here to convince you that you need something.
Yeah. Well, that's
Um,
the true mark of a good salesman right there.
because what I want to do is I want to find out, and the thing is, like, every business could probably benefit from video, but it
Mhm.
might not be the right time. It might not be, you might not be at the point in your business where you can actually afford to make that investment. And so, like, I really don't want to be taking your money if it's really a bad time.
Mhm.
Or if I don't think that I can actually help. So I'm going to ask questions and really try to figure out if this is something that you can actually do, and if there's a way that, not just by making the content, but a way that we can implement whatever it is that we create that will actually start to move the needle.
Mhm.
And a lot of that is just really getting them to be honest about where it is they want to end up. So with him, his thing was, I'm at 100 patients, or I'm almost at 100 patients. I need 300 patients to be completely fine, to not have
Mhm.
to worry about money or expenses, or whatever, to know that my business is going to be sustainable. 300
Mhm.
patients, I've done the numbers, I've done the work, I need 200 more patients. And it's like, all right, I can help you get some more patients. I can't guarantee we're going to get 200 in a month, but
Yeah.
we'll get the ball rolling. And 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 I mean, it was just, with the Facebook campaign, like, I thought that was personally the best way to get that video, which told his story, which is such a great story, in front of the most people who were most likely to need his service.
Mhm.
Because it's direct primary care. So the type of people who who are going to need that is going to be like moms, families, individuals who might not be able to afford insurance. And so the targeting in the campaign was kind of like based on that. And I mean, I asked him, I was like, who are most of your clients? Like, what type of people are walking through that door? And so he gave me a bunch of different types of people, like, but even like surprised, like skateboarders and things like that. Like, and so like I based my targeting off of that.
Yeah.
You know, that was part of what was in my targeting when I was building his Facebook ad. And I mean, in the time that we've been running the ad, and he doesn't have a crazy ad spend. He's spending $500 a month.
Okay.
And that's another thing, is like, some people don't realize you don't have to spend tens of thousands of dollars to make a difference. He's spending $500 a month on his Facebook ad. We've had probably 30,000-40,000 views of the video. And I mean, he's a local doctor, so I'm not splattering this thing all over the state of Florida. It's very localized. It's within a 20-30 mile radius of his practice that we're targeting. But we've gotten results.
That's awesome. So tell me a little bit about the actual video that you created for him, because you talked about you just want to feature him and show the real side of him. So he's local to you, correct? Okay. So I'm assuming
15 minutes away from me.
Okay. So you're probably going into his practice. So what does the actual video, setting up, recording the video? Do you have a strategy going in, or there's a list of questions that you're asking him? What did the actual video look like for you to create that for him?
Well, the video itself, I mean, I won't get into a shot by shot thing, but it basically opens up with him, like, and this thing, when you talk to people and you really get to know them, and that's the thing, I have to get to know somebody before we even go in and do the interview. Like, I kind of have a pre-interview, a deep dive, as people like to say, where I go in and I'm just digging. I'm digging for all the info, so that when I go in, I already know the answers. Like, there's going to be no surprises on the day of, unless you just say something really cool, which he did. And that's how we opened the video. Like, he opens the video by saying, a lot of people talk about saving money in healthcare. I actually do it every day. And when he said that, I was just like,
yep,
thank you. like moments like that, I can't make those happen. Like,
and if you had scripted that, he would have sounded like a robot.
yeah. And so that's why most of those types of videos, like, I don't script them. It's interview based, because, and I mean, that was a golden moment. And actually that's what the ad says on Facebook. Like I did some A/B testing. Like, I wrote out this, I think it was beautiful, long copy of, like, extolling the virtues of the practice. And and my wife, who also works in social media marketing, she works for a local hospital system. She was telling me, like, bro, that's too long. I'm like, what are you talking about? Like, all the experts are saying, like, long copy is in right now. Every ad that shows up on my feed, it's long copy. She's like, but you're not the ordinary person.
Yeah, it's the wrong audience. Yeah.
Yeah. She's like, it needs to be super short and to the point. I'm like, you're wrong. I'm going to do this long copy and it's going to work fantastic. And then
I'm going to do an A/B test to prove you wrong.
Yeah, she was right.
That's usually the way it goes, though, right?
Yeah. And I mean, I still think my copy was great, but but in the split test, like, just that one line, it works. And I mean, that's really what people care about, is they care about being able to save money on healthcare, because healthcare in America is so dang expensive.
So very true. So very true. So it's a sit down interview style video. Are you going in and creating one video, like recording one video, or are you trying to get several in one day? What does that look like? And
for him, we were concentrating on the one video.
Okay.
And with a lot of new clients, what I'll be like is like, look, let's try one video first.
Mm-hmm.
And if it works, if you're happy with it, if the working relationship is good, then we can talk about other stuff. Like, I'm not trying to get you to commit yourself to a whole bunch of things and the first experience is bad and then you're mad that
Mm-hmm.
you still owe me more money. Like, let's keep it simple. Let's try the first thing. If it works well, then we'll figure out other stuff that we can do to help your business. Um, unless someone's dead set on needing multiple videos, like usually I like to start with one.
Yeah.
And this type of video is, what me and a lot of my contemporaries like to call is the video business card. And it's really about just capturing the essence of the person and their motivation, so that by the end of that 2 to 3 minute video, you feel like you know them,
Mm-hmm.
and that somebody who's watching it has 80%, 90% of the information they need to say, I want to do business with this person. Or they get all the info they need to say, I don't want to do business with this person. I don't like their vibe. I don't like what they're about. I'm going to keep it moving.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's going to help save my clients time and headache from having to weed through a ton of people who aren't their ideal client, who wouldn't benefit from their service, or who would be bad customers for them.
Mm-hmm. Very much so. Well, and then doing the one video with the person is not only for their benefit, but it's for yours too, because sometimes you don't know how a client's going to be until you're in the project, getting it done.
Yeah,
And,
I mean, it's I'm pretty good at figuring out up front if somebody's going to be a good client or not. There's a process. Like, I don't take everybody who walks through the door. I have a discovery process form. Like, I have them fill out a form on the website to try to, get a little information beforehand. We have that good old 15, 30, 45-minute discovery call, depending on, what their schedule is like. And so I get a chance to get a feel for them. At every stage, I'm asking questions because, one, it just makes me better prepared the more information I have, and it's going to help me figure out how to make them more comfortable with whatever it is that we're doing. Because I have clients who are like the most personable, outgoing people that you meet, but the second you turn a camera on, man, people freeze up.
Oh yeah, everyone does. Everyone does that. So let's dig into that a little bit, if you don't care. How are you going out and finding clients for your agency? What does that look like for you?
It's different now.
Well, yeah, especially since this COVID mess. I mean, that's because you talked about BNI, which I think is great. And you talked about the chamber, which is also great. Those are, when I was in a young agency, that's how we found clients, but everything, we can't do any of that now anymore.
Yeah. I mean, I'm still doing some of that. And because, Zoom meetings are a thing.
Yeah.
BNI is meeting via Zoom. Chambers are meeting via Zoom. There are a lot of like new local networking opportunities popping up via Facebook groups and Zoom and stuff like that. And so I've been having so many Zoom conversations, and it's not a bad thing. Like, I love it. Like I actually wish I had been having more of these beforehand. And now when it's time to do networking or talk to a client, like I almost don't want to do anything else because it's so easy and so convenient. But I was pounding the pavement a lot, like going to networking events, meeting people, and that's fine. Like, because I'm kind of a young agency. Like, I'm not out here money falling from the sky, clients all over the world. Like, at this point right now, I don't really want that. Like for my other career doing corporate events, I have to travel a lot. Not now, because all corporate events are dead. But
so it's a good thing you have this other agency that you're working on.
Yeah, but like at the beginning of this year, that's the busy time for corporate events. I was actually doing way more corporate events than agency work up until all these shutdown orders started coming through the pipeline. So over the last year and a half, it's really been trying to get out in the community, meet people, establish a name for myself, because I want to build local business. Like, I expect it'll come to a point where I'll be comfortable having clients in other parts of the country and traveling to do shoots and all that sort of stuff. But right now, I'm really trying to build that local business and that local weight to my name. I want to be one of the go-to guys in Orlando. So that's what I've been focusing on. Now it's a little bit different. And I've had the odd client where, somebody from another city heard of me and wanted to work with me, and we have to arrange for somebody, a videographer there to go out and get the footage and things like that. That can happen. I have a network of guys all over the country where, I can probably find somebody in some corner that
Yeah.
that either has their own video guys that I can use or can help me find a video guy and get them to go get the footage I need so that we can make a project happen.
Yeah.
It's not really the way I like to do things. I'm pretty hands-on, and I'm pretty picky as far as like I consider myself a cinematographer, so lighting is very important to me, but I'm also got that audio engineering background. And all those things kind of give me an advantage when it comes to my final product, because I can do a lot of the things single-handedly that, or with a very small crew that would take a much bigger crew and a much more expensive crew with a larger agency, because I just know so many of these disciplines. So that kind of gives my clients a leg up. They can get a really high quality product for not necessarily the most high price. Like, I'm not cheap, but I know other dudes who are much more expensive than I am, but they also work for bigger agencies.
More overhead when you got things like that. Well, you've got, having the two areas of your expertise is definitely a benefit to all of your clients. So, a lot of our listeners and viewers are digital agency owners who do a variety of different things. So if somebody has a digital agency and they're thinking about adding video to their list of things that they're offering, is there any advice that you would give somebody that is thinking about offering that?
I would tell most agency owners that are more of the traditional digital agency owners to outsource the video.
Okay.
And here's why. I'm personally the type of my personal viewpoint is that you should stay in your lane. Not that you should never expand, but that you need to focus on the things that you're really, really strong at. So I think for some agencies, and this is just my personal opinion, don't take anything that I say as, the Bible or nothing, but I feel like a lot of these agencies who say that they do pay-per-click and SEO and yada yada, the laundry list of digital marketing things that they do, I feel like they only do a few of them really well.
Gotcha.
Like, they're really good at SEO, or they're really good at pay-per-click campaigns, or they're really good at Google ads, but they say that they do everything, and websites and this and that. And it's like, bro, you can't, unless you've got a gigantic agency with a bunch of specialists, you can't possibly be good at all that stuff.
Yeah.
Or if you are actually good at all that stuff, you are going to burn yourself out so fast. The reason that I focus on doing video is because I'm damn good at video. And I don't necessarily want to do all that. I don't want to learn SEO.
Yeah.
Like, I want to know enough to be dangerous, to know when I'm getting screwed over by somebody who's supposed to be good at SEO. But I don't want to do SEO. I don't want to do websites. And like, I don't do graphic design. Like, I know Photoshop, I know all these different programs, but that's not what I'm really good at. I'm really good at making video and telling these stories and taking that from the frame of reference of what does a customer actually care about, because that's it. And I just did a LinkedIn video on this the other day, about why most marketing videos don't work. It's because you're not approaching it from the standpoint of the customer and what they actually care about. And so I think I've gotten pretty good at that, about figuring out what things a customer will actually care about, because a lot of editing and a lot of video is taking away. There's tons of stuff that my clients and people in general say on video that doesn't matter, and nobody cares about except them.
Yeah.
But if your video is selfish, if your video is all about the things that you want to say and the things you want to hear, it's never going to work. It's got to be about what your customer wants to hear, what your customer needs to hear, about the things that they care about. That's why my doctor's marketing video works, is because everything that I put in there, everything that that I kept was the stuff that I knew the people that he was trying to serve wanted to hear, because it was the issues that they care about. They care about price. They care
Mm-hmm.
about they care about how often they're going to be able to see their doctor. They care about, are they actually going to get to know their doctor? Is it going to be one of these doctor's offices like too many people suffer through these days, where you feel like just a number, and you see the doctor for 10 minutes out of the 2 hours you're there.
Yeah.
Like, he doesn't do that. He spends an average of an hour with every patient.
Wow.
And so communicating that type of care was super duper important to telling his story. And not just the fact that he's got low pricing and discounted medicines, like that's all good, but I
Yeah.
had to show people that he actually cared about his patients and that he really wanted a relationship with them. And that's what people get.
Yeah. You're so true there on telling not the client story, but what the customer needs to hear, not what they want to hear, but what they need to hear to make that decision. So I love that you give the suggestion to stay in your lane and focus on what you're good at, and then hire people that are better at you than the other stuff. So if there was an agency owner here that was looking at white labeling or hiring a contractor out to do video work, is there suggestions that you would give them on things to look for in a videographer?
Somebody who knows lighting, because a lot of people get caught up in what kind of camera somebody's got.
Mm-hmm.
But even the most expensive cameras on the planet look like crap if you don't light the scene right. So somebody who knows lighting very well, and then somebody who's not going to forget about audio. Maybe they don't need to be an audio wizard, but they
Mm-hmm.
need to be competent at audio, because at least 50% of the video experience is the audio, and people will forgive crappy video quality all day, but the second it sounds terrible, they're turning it off.
Didn't realize that, but that's good to know. Good to know. So is there anything that you do special to keep clients coming back to you time and time again, besides just providing great video content? Is there anything else that you do?
I think another thing that kind of makes me a little bit different than other, videographers, is that we don't just we or I say we, but it's really me. I think
No, I
all
love it. Say
business
it's
owners
we.
is that implementation is a big part
Mm-hmm.
of what I'm trying to do with people, because one of the reasons people get dissatisfied with their video experience is that somebody will come out, will shoot a video for them and hand it to them and walk away.
Mm-hmm.
I really want to help people understand how best to actually use the video so that they get the result. So for him, there are things that you can do with the type of video that I made him that don't require any money. But I thought the way to get him the results the fastest and the type of results that he wanted was to put it in a Facebook campaign, because
Mm-hmm.
that's where his customers are. The moms, the dads, the 25 to 35-year-old people who don't have insurance for whatever reason. And I mean, he gets some older folks too, like he's got some Medicare patients and things like that, but a large chunk is like young people and families and stuff who maybe don't have all the money in the world,
Mm-hmm.
because his service is really affordable. And dang it, lost my train of thought.
Yeah. If I had $1 for every time I do the same thing. So
um
we're talking about what you do to get people to come back to you.
Implementation, that's where we were. So it's really important to think about the implementation of the video, because it's an asset, it's a tool. It's
Mm-hmm.
it's not just you have a great video, it's how are you using the great video to drive results. How are you getting eyeballs on the video? And a lot of times the best way to do that can be paid campaigns, whether that's a Google campaign or a Facebook campaign or Instagram or whatever. But if people don't have the money for that, which is one form of implementation, then it's okay, what are the strategies, where are the places that you can place this so that you maximize the number of people who see it?
Mm-hmm.
So, and it could be very simple things, but it's all about making sure that you're actively trying to get eyeballs onto the video, because if nobody sees it, it doesn't matter.
Mm-hmm. So very true. So right now with your business, what is the biggest challenge that you have going on right now in the business besides COVID? I'm sure that's top of everyone's list.
Yeah, being honest, lead generation.
Yeah.
Because like I said before, a lot of my client acquisition was hand to hand, face to face,
Mm-hmm.
referrals and things like that. But now it's like I'm having to start implementing some of these strategies that I do for other people for me. So I'm doing a lot more content for the business or for myself as a person. Like I'm on LinkedIn a whole lot, trying to make my presence known there, because um I'm trying to be more open to doing things digitally.
Uh-huh.
I've been posting more on Facebook, and like I had a conversation with a lawyer that might become a client a week or two ago, because she saw a post I did in the Facebook group. um I'm just trying to increase my digital presence, especially with the video, because that's
Yeah.
what I do. And also just trying to think outside my box that I've created for other things. Is like, what else do I do well? um YouTube is one thing that I do well. I've got a YouTube channel that I've been growing the past couple of years as a hobby, but I've learned a lot about YouTube as a platform. So now I've started offering coaching on YouTube, because most businesses that I see doing YouTube do it terribly.
Mm-hmm.
Um, things like that. Thinking about getting a course done for business owners for YouTube, so that there's something out there that I have that can make money without me.
Yeah.
Just different strategies and things like that, that I'm just trying to think differently, because there's money out there to make. You just got to figure out how to make it.
Oh, that's so true. So true. So I feel like you and I are a lot alike as far as liking to go to in-person meetings and meeting people and having conversations in person, face to face. So is everything moving digitally? Are you finding it difficult to have the same type of meaningful conversations online as you did in person? Like how did that transition go for you?
uh I mean, like I was saying earlier, I love doing these Zoom calls
Yeah.
and all that stuff. Like I feel like I have great conversations. The the difficult part for me is just making sure that it moves past conversation. Like
Mm,
I like talking to people, so I can talk all day, but at some point you got to figure out, all right, are you actually interested in doing something? What kind of numbers? Like, and I'm not the greatest at that. Like I'm an
yeah.
artist at heart. I'm creative. I like making the things and doing the things. And I mean, just being real, I got to get better at business.
Yeah.
Uh, so that's kind of the difficult part for me, is like stepping out of my artist box and into the businessman box, to make sure that we keep these money coming in and these babies get fed.
Yeah. How many babies do we have at home?
Two, a 4-year-old and a 7-year-old.
Oh, bless you. Love it. Love it. So, the last question that I always like ending with, is there anything that you're currently reading or listening to that is helping you grow as a business owner?
Uh, there's tons of stuff that I'm supposed to be.
And you know what? I have lots of people be like, I don't read anything because I need my brain to just not focus on work at the end of the day. So I watch this trash TV, whatever it may be. So if that's the case, tell us what you're listening to right now that helps you clear your mind.
Well, I am catching up on my Hulu and my Netflix,
Oh yeah.
but oh, I hear one of the kids. Um, but but I do I'm trying to get better at reading some of these books and stuff.
Uh-huh.
I've got a list of stuff that I'm supposed to go through, and I've also got some training courses that I need to finish. I'm always trying to expand my mind and learn new things that I can implement in the business. So I do, like I was saying, I do a lot of YouTube.
Mm-hmm.
I'm constantly on YouTube looking for something to learn. Sometimes that leads to a little bit of overload in the
Yeah.
brain, but then I go read one of my trash urban fantasy novels to kind of relax the brain.
Yeah.
But I'm constantly looking for something to learn from. If I'm not learning something, I feel like I'm not doing anything. So
Yeah.
it's constantly trying to feed the brain. from all different sources.
That's good. Okay, so let's end it. Where can people find your YouTube channel and more information about you?
If you look for Alex Miner on YouTube, you'll find the YouTube channel. I'm on LinkedIn, Alex Miner, and I Am Media, EYEAMMEDIA. I Am Media on Instagram. I am Alex Miner on Instagram. IamMedia.com. So I'm out here. We're on Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, trying to be visible in this modern digital world.
I love it. I love it. Well, Alex, thank you so much for being on the podcast. I've enjoyed getting to know you a little bit.
Well, thank you for having me. It was a pleasure.
All right, guys. We'll see you next week.
You've been listening to the Digital Agency Insiders Podcast. For more tutorials on growing your digital marketing agency, make sure to visit digitalagencyinsiders.com.